Lauren Jean Show. I bring this podcast to you to share stories about situations in my life to help you take a journey into your own mind and finally commit to change. Let's get into the show. There are times in life when your energy just seems to shoot through the roof. There are other times when you just don't know where to find it. And there are stories in your life that help you figure out where exactly this energy is coming from. Welcome back to another show, guys. This is Lauren Jean, your host. And before we get into everything today, I just want to tell you that this podcast is sponsored by Audible. You can get your free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/The Lauren Jean Show. I have repeatedly told you how much I love Audible. When I first started the subscription, I thought I might just get the free book and then cancel because we tend to do that a lot. But I was addicted because I am addicted to audio and I just absolutely love it. My latest book just happened to be a really perfect one that is happening at this time in my life, which was Danielle LaPorte's White Hot Truth. And the one before that just so happens to be a moonology, right in time for the solar eclipse. So I just wanted to share that with you. I think you guys should definitely run over there. And even if you're not an audio addict like myself, give it a shot. Get the free book, www.audibletrial.com/The Lauren Jean Show. So I want to get into today's show. And I actually wasn't planning on recording it today, but I had something happen in my life that just kind of, threw me for a loop. And it works perfectly with this story. And I realized that this happens so much more in life than I ever knew before. And when I was reading about it in The Untethered Soul, another book that I'm really into, although that's just a print copy, this topic of inner energy came up. And I was just fascinated by it because I can so relate to it so easily. And you know what? I took a whole bunch of notes here. So I'm going to go through them and really try to get into this and let you know that this is something that we all deal with. And consciousness and inner energy are two mysteries in life. These are two things that scientists study. And I mean, everyone in the self-development world now, even if you're not studying it on a scientific level, somehow we are deeply fascinated by it. And it's our brain, it's our body, it's the energy systems within us, and it's what leads us through life. So to me, it is just absolutely fascinating to constantly learn about this topic. And I'm going to tell you a story, something that happened to me today that kind of hit me, and I had to pull myself out of it because I really felt like, holy shit, you need to get yourself out of this because this is not reality. This is not reality. This is not happening. This is all in your head, and you need to not let this energy get sucked out of you and bring you into this mini depression because that's what it started to be. And the story is, really quick story, this is not too much to it, and it doesn't need to be something major that happens. It just needs to be something that sort of sucks the energy out of you and makes you feel less than, makes you feel not worth it, makes you feel shitty, makes you feel like you want to hide under a rock. And I know that all of you single parents out there, divorced parents out there, can at some point relate to this. And it was as simple as my daughter wanted to go back to her dad's early. Now, I know that might sound simple and crazy, but it really hit me. And I wanted to cry. And I'm kind of like a little teary right now, but I'm okay because this is my way of dealing with things. I talk it out. and I share it with you guys so that you know that you're not the only one dealing with this type of thing. Now, when they're little, it's a little bit easier to sort of just say, no, that you're going to be staying here tonight. You're going to be with me tonight. But as they get older, my daughter's 9, and they're able to make their own decisions, and you want them to feel good about it. You don't want them to feel guilty. You don't want to put pressure on them, because then that's just causing problems later in their life, and that really sucks. You don't want to do that to your kids. At least I don't, and I know a whole lot of people that don't. So this is one of those moments where you got to sort of suck it up as a parent, and you got to go along with it, because you don't want to make your kids feel horrible, because ultimately kids are here. They love us. They don't want us to feel really crappy. They really don't. They want us to be proud of them. Think of how you were with your parents. Like, you did whatever you could do to make your parents proud. Maybe even if it's gone as far as doing something in your life that you hate because they were pushing it on you for so long. So it starts off while they're little. So this is something that you have to sort of take a step back from and look at the situation and think, do they really not want to be with me because they don't love me? No, that's crazy. This is just a decision that she made simply because I wasn't going to be home in the morning. And she wanted to be with her father. And I love her father, as a friend. And I like her stepmom, and it's all good. So that's when I had to take the step back and sort of hold the tears in so that I didn't make her feel like she was letting me down. And this is something that sucked out what is called my inner energy. So let's get into this whole consciousness and inner energy thing. This is scientific on a very basic level, and I'm going to share it with you on a very basic level. I'm not going to get all sciencey with it because, like I've said, I really want to be able to, but at the same time, I'm still learning this, and I want to make it easy for you to understand as well. So think about this. Like I just said, we tend to ignore ourselves and study everything around us, and this includes our own consciousness and our own inner energy. And our inner energy is so powerful. We have no idea how powerful we actually are. Like I said in the last episode, we can actually create our realities with our minds, right? So if you think about that, think about how much energy needs to be inside of us to be able to do that. Everything takes energy, your movements, your thoughts, your emotions. We fight thoughts. We try to remember things. We push away emotions. These are all ways that our energy is expended. We use so much of it. So where does this come from? It certainly doesn't come from food, and it does not come from sleep. This is something that is naturally within us. So if you are emotionally and mentally drained, like I said, food does not help. And you kind of start to feel depressed because you're in a dark spot and you just feel like the world is ending. And I feel like this a lot of times when I'm coming upon that PMS time, which I don't get all the time, luckily, but I know some people do. So this is one way that your inner energy is sucked out if you are a female who deals with this type of thing. I feel for you. I really, really do. This is a great example. Another great example of your inner energy being sucked out, besides the story that I just shared, was, let's just say, for example, you're in a relationship with someone and they break up with you, right? You go into this sulky depression where you don't want to do anything. Say your house is a mess, you're not getting anything done, you're not eating, or maybe you are eating, but nothing is filling you up, right? Have you been in this spot? Do you know someone who has been in this spot? Most likely something like that. So these shifts, they come from within. They come from something being taken away from us, and our energy just shoots right down. Okay, so now this person, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it might be, they call you a couple months later after you've been in this emotion-filled life of doing nothing and food's not helping you. They call you out of the blue. suddenly you get this energy back and you are up and out of your bed as fast as you can. You are showered, you are ready to go. You're out there meeting them and you feel as happy as you were when you were first with them. So, like I said, this type of energy does not come from food. It doesn't come from sleep. It comes from that deeper energy within your soul, within our souls. We house this crazy energy. So ultimately, why do we not feel it? Simply because we are blocking it. We choose to block it. And really it is, we're closing our hearts, which is, by the way, the biggest energy source within us. We close our hearts, we close our minds because of past experiences, because of anticipating of the future. So we are not living in the now, as Eckhart Tolle would say. We're not living in that moment. When we close our heart and we close our mind, we are looking ahead and in the past. So ultimately, we block our own energy. We choose to block our own energy. That's crazy, guys, but you need to be aware of when this is happening so that you can sort of not let these things happen, or they happen less. And that just will create less stress. You'll be more relaxed because you know that you're going to be able to get out of any situation. Therefore, you keep those main centers, your heart, which there's other names for it in other areas of the world. If you heard, there's Qi, which is in Chinese medicine. There's Shakti, which is yoga. Spirit in the West. There's millions of different names for it. Well, maybe not millions, but all over the world. There are different names for this type of energy. So, like I said, the main one is within your heart. It is, I kind of like to explain it as, let's say you're in a relationship, or you enter into a new relationship and you have this excitement that you feel within your heart. Like you have this built up energy that you're just wanting to like shake out of you because you are so excited. I have felt this. I felt this recently. And I know that I am finally wide open to, I want to say, love in this state of mind that I am in. So for that to have happened with my daughter, I knew it was happening. And I knew that it was not real. I knew I was starting to shut down. I knew that I happened to feel something at some moments. Accept it, love her, kiss her, let her go, move on, be happy. And that's when I came and recorded this podcast. I wanted to get to you guys when I was actually feeling that emotion, because when I first started talking, I wanted to cry. I honestly wanted to cry because I was starting to close my heart. And as I go through my notes here, I realize that I am so damn lucky to have a daughter who is so loved by everyone in her world, and that she is going to have an amazing little life. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys, so that you can realize that what you do affects your children in their later life. And I've said this so many times in other podcasts, doesn't matter what the topic is, but it helps them to understand that their decisions mean something, and that you're going to allow it as long as it's not dangerous to them or whatever, or it's not something crazy that they want to do. She simply wanted to go to her dad's. I'm okay with that now, because I realized I was closing up my heart. I was closing up those energy centers. I was closing up everything, and I had to not let that happen, because I know what that feels like to be in that deep, dark mode of just unrealistic thoughts and emotions going through my mind, through my body, through my brain, that was going to ultimately shut me down. I had to just stop it right there. So just like I was saying before, when you are open, and I want to say to love, because love is ultimately a very powerful energy that lives within your body, lives within your heart and the other chakras that are in your body. I don't know too much about the chakras. I'm getting into that as I get more and more into quantum physics and learning about other healing modalities, which I am fascinated with, you want to keep that open. And the way you do is you allow it. Don't allow yourself to shut down. This is something that you can do with practice. Maybe you might temporarily shut down, open right back up, kind of like what I just did. So you need to be aware of what is going on. You need to be conscious of the thoughts, of the emotions, of the patterns, and of the stories that are happening in your life currently. Forget about the past. Forget about the future. Think about what is going on in your body, in your life at this very moment. Is it something worth shutting down for? Because it's really hard to get yourself out of that. I know, I've been there. I'm sure you've been there at some point. You need to keep your spirit open. And you can call upon this powerful energy at any time, as long as you're open. If you want to have that excited feeling of being in a relationship, a brand new relationship that you're really excited for, you can bring on that energy right now if you wanted to do that. But you need to be open. You really need to be open. So ultimately, you want to think about what is happening now. And you want to get rid of it if it's bad, because those thoughts are not real. You want to bring on that happy energy that you always want to have within you, because that's what's really worth it. That's what's really worth it. And that's why I needed to record this podcast today. Inner energy doesn't come from food. It doesn't come from sleep. It comes within you, deep within you. And that's why you can create your reality and create love and happiness. And it's not a whole lot of woo-woo. It's the truth. And I want to share it with you ongoing in this podcast as I learn more and more and more about it. And I really feel like you parents out there can kind of understand what it might feel like when your child decides that they don't want to be with you, even if it's just for a short amount of time. I feel it big time as she's getting older, and she's going into 4th grade really shortly, and things are going to change. Every single year they're going to change, and my life's going to change, and I'm okay with that. But it's not going to be like it used to be. And that's when a lot of people tend to shut down and get scared and close off. And my goal is to constantly be aware of that, keep it open, learn to adapt with the changes, because nothing has broken down so far as she gets older. I have my breakdowns, I cry, yes, that's normal. Don't hold in the emotions. Just be aware of the reality within that emotion. Think about it and decide whether or not this is actually real. So thank you guys for listening to that. I really hope that I hit you guys in some way, because I know that it really got to me, and really understand this whole inner energy thing, that you can't feed that with food or sleep. Just like I said, this is something that lives within you. Food or sleep, that's a different type of energy, but this is the most powerful energy that you can release into the world and keep open, so that you can constantly experience, I want to call it euphoria. So yeah, keep it open. And if you guys want to reach out to me, please do. You can reach out to me at imthelaurenjean@gmail.com. You can come find me on my private Facebook page, which is Lauren Jean. And if you want to reach out to me on my favorite place, you can reach out to me at Instagram, which is The Lauren Jeans. Thanks for listening, guys. And I will be back next week with an awesome interview from Dr. Bernie Siegel. And we're going to be talking about his book, The Art of Healing. And it's pretty freaking cool what he does as a medical doctor, an MD, and how he uses dreams and drawings and animals and all sorts of good stuff to help people come out of really deathly diseases. And this guy has just got it. He is a superstar at what he does, and I can't wait for you to hear reconnecting with you guys again next Tuesday. Talk to you soon. Have a wonderful week and an awesome weekend.